Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, this is going to be a kind of a rambly one because once again, um, I've misplaced something or lost something, and I'm trying to alter the way I do things, the way I react to things, um, to reduce stress and anxiety in my life. This particular flashlight, I was going to try it out at night to see how the beam pattern worked and everything else. But because got an incident going on with these kids and stuff, um, I didn't think this flashlight was appropriate for what I was potentially going to need. An instant strobe and possibly a crenulated bezel in case I needed it, like a Yarway stick or a Kubotan or whatever you want to call it, a little persuader with the even though this is metal and everything, it's got a folding head. It's just not set up for that. So I switched to, I think it was the Workhorse TD03, because just from the E button on the tail end, you push and hold down, and it comes on in strobe immediately. The way I've got it set up, and it's the right size, 18650. So, anyways, I came in here and I picked up that, and what did I do with this? The last thing I remember doing was taking that clip off and putting it over here, reversing it, because this doesn't carry very well with that sitting like that. That carries very well on a pocket, on a shirt pocket, but if you want to put it in a pants pocket, you have to reverse the clip. And I remember doing that out by the mailroom. So I can't find that. Then I came in here and I started looking around in the entire room, and I started doing my same routine of inspecting the same place more than once. It's kind of like the definition of insanity. You do the same thing over and over again and not change anything and expect different results. If you keep repeating it and you keep getting the same results, then do something different. And that's what I was trying to do, not only on that, but on how I react, how people get me angry, and what it's basically someone has figured out the trigger, whatever it is, that gets you angry, and they probably did that by trying a bunch of different crap, and they finally hit on the thing. You see this on a lot of westerns. They're trying to find what they can get, to make a person crack, and they finally find out it's his horse, or he's got a girlfriend, or but they can't torture him to get the secrets to how to open up the bank. But eventually they hit on the right thing, and then he caves in. Then his attitude changes. He no longer, I'm a tough guy. All of a sudden, he's willing to cooperate. And with emotions, not just anger, but anxiety and all this other stuff. It's I am also, I'm sorry, my mind's kind of scattered on this. I also have, like, I understand a lot of where the stoic lifestyle come from. Now this does not equate very well with knife collecting and everything, because stoicism is like remove as much as you can from your life. And I thought I learned that lesson when I moved from my home in New Mexico to come here to take care of my mom, because she was, in hospice care. And I had to get rid of a lot of stuff. And it's also ties into a lot of Buddhist things. The thing I do is I let no religion dictate to me how I'm going to live my life. I determine how I'm going to live my life. I take good things I find out of different religions and different ways of doing stuff, even non-religious, just different ways of doing things that make my life better. All right? And if in the process it makes other people's lives better, which is usually what you have to do, you have to find some way to compromise with your situation or to deal with it. And that doesn't mean give up your principles or anything. It's just you have to alter, or I have to alter the way I'm dealing with situations because um, take for example those kids out there. First off, they know they're juveniles, all right? So juveniles in America are not treated as an adult in a court of law just to kind of like people know when you're young, you just can't hold them to the same responsibility as an adult because an adult, after you become an adult or whatever they consider the legal age of an adult, um, you have more reasoning capabilities, you have more experience, you're expected to, act a certain way in society or else. But when you're a juvenile, you can get away with stuff. Well, what these kids have learned, and what most places is power in numbers and loudness, intimidation type of stuff. And that's basically bullying. That's what's triggered me on a lot of this stuff is when either one or more than one person comes up and tries to uh, change my environment with loud noise or whatever. Uh, how I handle that is one thing, or another. Like you can get all mad, you can get scared and hide in your room and like, oh, I'm not gonna go on my balcony because they might see me or there's some. My language might get a little bit rough in this one. Well, fuck them. This is my environment. I don't come over to wherever they're at and play. What if I went over to the project and got some loudspeakers and played country and western music real loud? Something, I'll play something I know they wouldn't like, classical music or something. Blare it, real loud at their thing. What would they do? They get all mad and they call the cops and they get all upset. See, I'd be infecting their environment with what? With my crap. I don't, necessarily like. I like country. I like all kinds of music. But what I don't like is having to hear it, and then the leader of the pack, female. She's probably a teenager, but she's big and she's black and she's loud and she's got it's a mixed race group in there. But it's just um, you've got the juvenile card, you've got the race card because it's a white man talking to a black person, again, and already it's automatically, they assume that I'm racist and everything. No, I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. Um, anyway, yesterday when all of this stuff was going on, I wasn't letting that bother me. I just went on about my life. I sat out on the porch and I whittled a little bit. I was carving on some stuff. I don't care if they saw me with a knife in my hand. I'm on my back porch. If it scares them, so what? I wasn't trying to scare them. I wasn't concerned about them with them over there. I just blocked it. You know. Um, but one of the things I was learning on, I have learned this before, is you can take time, you can take a pause before you react. When something happens, you can assess what emotion is hitting you right now, and why are you reacting to it? Is because you wanted to, or is because external influences are doing it? If someone's trying to make you mad, and you get mad, and you raise your voice, and you get angry and everything, um, I have done this before in real life situations. Silence. If you don't respond to them trying to intimidate you, you're not running away, but you're staring at them. That can unnerve a lot of people because that's a situation I get into where I get cold. My emotions just stop, and I shut my mouth if I've been talking, and I assess the situation that's going on, and I see what's happening, and that alone, you know, can defuse a situation because they run out of steam after a while. Let them talk. It's just words. Why are words triggering you? Because they want to trigger you. Because it's like another comment someone left there where at first they said I should leave, which I'm not going to do. But then the other one is it's like It's like being mad at the rain or at thunder. And that's truth right there. No matter what I do, I am not going to change the way these people um, behave. I might be able to alter it slightly, but they're not going to just say, "Oh wow, you are so wise. I will stop being a little gangster and run around with all this attention I'm getting, and all this power, and I'll act civilized." No, that ain't going to happen. You know, uh, I'm if I think that way, then I'm trying to get people to live in my world, my little world. And there are a lot of people that I don't want in my little world. And unless they act a certain way, then um, anyway, I, I'm not going to let things trigger me, but I'm also not. I'm not going to be afraid of people, but I'm also going to be aware of situations. Like um, they came back, like I said, and they were all hanging. They weren't hanging out by the pool anymore, but they attempted to get in. And this is what you get in a gang. One of the guys, the the little white boy that had climbed in before, they moved. The maintenance guy moved the chairs and everything back from that back fence because that's how they hop over. They come up that sidewalk, they climb over the back fence, and there's usually chairs push up against the back fence, and they climb in, and then they go do the gate or open the gate, and they take over the pool. Sometimes they don't even open the gate. I was waiting for him to do that, and then I was going to text the maintenance guy and tell him, hey, the mice are in the trap, but and let him handle it, with the police and everything. But these guys are fast, and they know the response time. Even though there was a police station only like about a mile and a half away, they got other stuff to do, and this is like non-life threatening. So the response time can take a long time. I mean, they're semi-intelligent, semi-organized, but they're also just kids and bullies, basically just uh, pushing their music and their ideas and everything on everyone. And in this situation, it's our backyard. It's everybody that lives here. Everybody's got little kids. Anybody that's sitting there watching squirrels or birds, even the cats. Everything gets disrupted because they want attention. They want negative attention and everything. And I'm not gonna give it to them. But I'm not gonna be afraid of them. So I still do my walks. Like I said, when they were doing all that stuff the other night, even though I'd reached my goal of walking, I continue to walk because I walk alone. I'm not afraid. They got this little dog. I'm not afraid of that little dog. I might give me some pepper spray, give him something on his nose. But the flashlight seems to work well with him. And now, see, if there was more than one dog, if there was that little dog leading them, and then it was a bunch of German Shepherds loose, running wild, and Dobermans and mixed breeds, and they're all getting aggressive. They follow whatever the little dog does. Guess what? You got to convince the little dog that's not the thing to do, or you're going to have to fight all these other more powerful, powerful in numbers kind of dogs. So I'm going to talk to the maintenance guy. As far as like finding this, good luck. If I find it, I'm not gonna go more insane. I'm not gonna go insane, but I'm already crazy. I'm not gonna go more insane trying to find that thing. I'm gonna get my life together on that. And speaking of which, I'm gonna still have giveaways and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm just trying to adjust to. Anytime your blood pressure gets up, I mean, I was ready to fight the other day. I was ready to fight all of them, and it's stupid. What do you win from that? I mean, it's not a winning situation. Anyways, I think Shadow's up by the door, so I gotta let him in. But anyways, yeah, for me, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sharpen my mind. It's like that one link that I put up about one of the greatest swordsmen in Japan or whatever, and it was not because he was the fastest or he was the best. It's because he was emotionless in battle, and he had 60 hand-to-hand confrontations and won every one of them. So I'm not going to adopt everything the guy did because he got really stoic. You know, I mean he slept in the dirt. He had nothing because that way there would be nothing they could take away from him. I understand a lot of that principle, but still, from my own stupidity, I misplaced something, and I was going to do something, and I can't find it. Oh, man. I either dropped it or I misplaced it here, and I started going nuts, and then I just stopped myself. I said, stop this pattern. I already know the outcome. If you're going to search more methodically. Don't just glance at something. Do it completely, you know, and just go sector by sector and declare it empty. You know, it's not here. It's not there. Maybe you'll find it somewhere else, you know. And I think that's what happens. I'm come in and I'm in a hurry and I do something and I take a knife and I set it down somewhere and it's not supposed to be there. That's not where it's supposed to be. And I don't normally have knives sitting over there, but boom, you know, and then something else gets put on top of it. But I'm looking for this pattern. I'm looking for this, and now it looks like kind of like that. Yeah, I might still be able to recognize it by the elementum handle, but what if something else happens like this? Or what if it's laying like this? Now what does it look like? Can you recognize that knife now? Anyway, there you go. Don't go crazy like me, and don't fight imaginary battles or real battles. The real battle is the battle within yourself, self-discipline, your mind. That's the main thing. Your enemy, your worst enemy is yourself. What needs to be strengthened? Yeah, you can strengthen your you can strengthen your muscles and everything else, but if you sharpen your mind, that's going to carry you through a lot more things than sharpening your self-defense skills and all that. Sharpen your attitude. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Oh yes, as a disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just telling you things that you can take or leave, because I'm just an old guy just talking, rambling. Ramble on.